Did you know money hasn't always looked like this? From giant stones to chocolate, the history of currency is wilder than you can imagine. Stick around, because some of these facts, especially number 9, are going to absolutely blow your mind. Let's kick things off with our first fact. Head over to the tiny islands of Micronesia, specifically Yap. Here, you'd find some of the heaviest cash on the planet. Rhinestones. These aren't just pebbles. We're talking massive, circular limestone discs, some as tall as a person and weighing more than a car. They have a hole in the middle, not for a keychain, but to help carry them with poles. What's truly bizarre is that their value wasn't just about size. It was about their history. Who carved it? How many people died trying to transport it across the sea? A stone didn't even have to be physically present to be used in a transaction. Its ownership could be transferred orally, even if the stone itself was sitting at the bottom of the ocean after a shipwreck. Imagine telling someone you just paid for a house with a rock that's lost at sea. That's a level of trust modern banking can only dream of. These stones were used for major social transactions, like marriage dowries or land deals, proving that value is all about collective belief. Okay, from giant stones to something you sprinkle on your fries. Fact number 2, salt was once worth its weight in, well, everything. In ancient Rome, salt was a precious commodity. It was essential for preserving food, especially meat, which was a huge deal before refrigerators. Roman soldiers were sometimes paid in salt or given a special allowance to buy it. This payment was called a salarium argentum, which literally means salt money. Sound familiar? It should, because that's where our modern word salary comes from. So next time you get your paycheck, you can thank the Romans and their love for this humble mineral. It wasn't just Rome either. In parts of Africa, and even into the 20th century in Ethiopia, bars of salt called amole were used as standard currency, each one carefully cut to a specific size and weight. Think about that the next time you casually pass the salt shaker at the dinner table. Now for a currency that's a little sweeter. Fact number 3 takes us to the ancient Aztec Empire. If you were an Aztec living in the 14th century, your wallet might have been filled with cacao beans. That's right, the very same beans used to make chocolate were a form of currency. They were valuable because they were difficult to cultivate and were used to make a special bitter drink reserved for the elite. A single bean could buy you a tomato, while 100 could get you a canoe or even a slave. This system was so sophisticated that they even had to deal with counterfeiters who would hollow out cacao beans and fill them with dirt or clay. It gives a whole new meaning to the term chocolate money, doesn't it? It wasn't just a novelty. It was a functioning, albeit delicious economic system that powered one of history's greatest empires. Let's jump forward to a much darker time in history for our fourth fact. During World War II, in the grim conditions of prisoner war camps, a new form of currency emerged out of necessity: cigarettes. With official money being worthless inside the camps, prisoners developed their own microeconomies. Cigarettes, which were distributed in Red Cross packages, became the standard unit of exchange. Everything had a price in cigarettes. A piece of chocolate might cost you 2 cigarettes, while a warm sweater could be worth a whole pack. The cigarette standard was surprisingly stable. Prices would fluctuate based on supply, like when a new Red Cross delivery was expected, or tragically, when a prisoner passed away and their stash was redistributed. It's a powerful and somber example of how humans will always find a way to create order and trade, even in the most desperate of circumstances. Before we hit the halfway mark, here's a truly strange one. Fact number 5. Some currencies weren't made of metal or paper, but of leather and porcelain. Seriously. In medieval Russia, and even in some parts of ancient China, pieces of leather, often from animal hides, were stamped with an official seal and used as money. This was usually done during times of metal shortages. Imagine paying for your groceries with a piece of squirrel hide, but it gets even weirder. In 18th century Siam, now Thailand, the gambling houses had a problem. People needed small change to place bets, but there weren't enough official coins. So the houses created their own tokens made of porcelain. These colorful, intricate P tokens became so popular that they started being used for trade all over the country, acting as an emergency currency until the government eventually banned them. From leather to porcelain, it seems like we've tried to make money out of just about anything. And now for fact number 6, a story of pure opulence. In 2007, the Royal Canadian Mint decided to create something extraordinary. They minted a gold coin with a face value of $1 million. But here's the kicker. Its actual worth is far, far more. Why? Because this coin, nicknamed the Big Maple Leaf, is made of 100 kilograms of 99.999% pure gold. At today's gold prices, that's over $6 million. It's about the size of a large pizza and 3 centimeters thick. Initially, it was just a showpiece to promote the Mint's new line of pure gold bullion coins. But it attracted so much attention from wealthy collectors that they ended up making and selling 5 of them. One of them was famously stolen from a German museum in 2017 in a dramatic heist, and it's believed the thieves melted it down. What a way to lose $1 million, or rather a $6 million coin. From extreme wealth to extreme inflation. Fact number 7 takes us to Zimbabwe in the late 2000s. The country experienced one of the worst cases of hyperinflation in history. Prices were doubling almost every single day. To keep up, the government had to print banknotes with more and more zeros. It started with millions, then billions, and eventually they issued the infamous $100 trillion banknote. That's a 1 followed by 14 zeros. You think that would make you a trillionaire, right? Wrong. At the peak of the crisis, that $100 trillion bill could barely buy you a loaf of bread. People had to carry huge stacks of cash just for basic groceries. The situation became so absurd that the country eventually had to abandon its own currency altogether and started using foreign currencies like the US dollar. These old banknotes are now sold as souvenirs, a stark reminder of how quickly the value of money can disappear. Let's rewind the clock for fact number 8 and travel to 17th century Europe. Who do we have to thank for the convenience of paper money? Sweden. In 1661, a bank called Stockholms Banco became the first bank in Europe to issue official paper banknotes. Before this, people lugged around massive copper plates as currency because Sweden was rich in copper but poor in silver and gold. Some of these plates weighed nearly 20 kilograms. It was incredibly impractical. So, the bank's founder had a brilliant idea. Instead of carrying the heavy copper, people could deposit it at the bank and get a paper certificate of credit. These certificates could then be used for trade. It was a revolutionary concept that made commerce much easier. Unfortunately, the bank printed too many notes without enough copper to back them, leading to its collapse. But the idea stuck, and paper money eventually spread across Europe and the entire world. All right, here it is, the one I promised would shock you. Fact number 9. One of the most widespread and long-lasting forms of currency in history wasn't gold, silver, or even stone. It was shells. Specifically, cowrie shells from a species of sea snail found in the Indian Ocean. For thousands of years, these small, white, porcelain-like shells were used as money across vast parts of Africa, Asia, and the Pacific Islands. Their use as currency was brilliant. They were durable, easy to carry, and almost impossible to counterfeit. Their value was stable because the supply was controlled by the long and difficult trade routes from the Maldives, their primary source. They were used for everything, from buying daily goods to paying taxes and dowries. In some parts of Africa, their use continued right up into the 20th century. It's incredible to think that for millennia, global economies were powered by these tiny shells from the sea. And finally, for our 10th fact, let's look at the birth of the plastic in your wallet. The world's first credit card wasn't Visa or MasterCard. It was the Diners Club card, introduced in 1950. The story goes that a man named Frank McNamara was having dinner at a restaurant in New York when he realized he had forgotten his wallet. The embarrassing situation gave him an idea, a charge card that could be used at multiple establishments. He returned to the same restaurant a year later with his business partner and paid for his meal using a small cardboard card, the first ever Diners Club card. This event is famously known as the First Supper. Initially, the card was accepted at just 27 restaurants in New York, but the idea of Charge It caught on like wildfire. It revolutionized how we pay for things, paving the way for the entire system of credit and debit cards we rely on today. All thanks to one man forgetting his wallet. And there you have it, 10 mind-blowing facts about the strange history of money. From giant stones to seashells to digital charges, what we consider valuable is always changing. Which fact surprised you the most? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this journey through currency history, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell so you never miss another amazing video. Thanks for watching.